Tom Ford once said, "I do everything completely naked." I highly doubt that. I mean, people do stuff nude all the time. I mean, people walk around their house nude. People are in the shower nude, but that's kind of necessary if you want to be as clean as can be. People dance around a stripper pole without a single ounce of clothing on. And we're nude in bed when we're having intercourse. But yeah, I don't really believe that he's that kind of guy. Today, we're going to be talking about nudity in the weirdest, most awkward, and controversial form of entertainment that exists. It's something you guys know all about. I'm sure you're going to think about it right now. I'm sure you're already playing the guessing game. But for now, sit back, relax, let's get started. Hey folks, how y'all doing? I'm Al Tessier. Welcome to another episode of Chatterbox. Joining me today is fellow actor and former entertainer, Kyle Merrick. Kyle, great to have you on the show.
Former entertainer. Boy, am I skeptical with that phrase.
Well, we've all found ways to entertain in the past, if you catch my drift. So, folks, today we are going to be talking about what is basically considered quite possibly the most controversial, judgmental, and eyebrow-raising form of entertainment there is. And no, it's not stripping, and no, it is not reality television. We're going to be talking about the porn industry. Okay. Kyle.
What's the difference, dude? That's my question. What is the difference?
Strippers don't get as much attention, especially via internet, unless they're
unless they're doing the whole kind of OnlyFans.
Correct, exactly. Yeah. So share us a little bit about your entertainment background.
I think jokingly offline, I might have suggested that I was previously in some industry related. I have not been. My understanding of it is simply that of just a dude these days. Mm-hmm. But, this comes also from I was born in 1992. And so mm-hmm. This is the pre-internet days. Or if we did have the internet, it was so much in its infancy mm-hmm. that finding and accessing this stuff was just not even really an option. So, it's Sports Illustrated swimsuits or tucked under your bed and you're just hanging out with your buddies and just the 90s kids stuff,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. 1 second. I'll edit this out. Okay. Because I just need to get some action. I'll do the editing. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Get back to where you were at. I just had to do a little research.
Sure. That was the end of that thought.
Yeah. So.
I mean, I can go more into my actual background if you want, but.
Yeah. Well, I'm one of the things that kind of got me into wanting to do this episode is I'm definitely one for controversy when it comes to the world of media and entertainment. And I don't know if you heard about it, but the owner of OnlyFans, Leonard Rodvinsky, recently died of cancer.
Oof.
Yeah, he was only 43 years old, so pretty young. Okay. I can tell you one thing. This guy was a mystery man. He has been labeled as the most perverted billionaire in history. I don't exactly think that's much of a title you should be proud of, but I've done my research and seen YouTube videos about him. This guy lived and breathed the entire pornographic industry to the next level, and I'm not sure if he was an addict or if he just had his own deranged, twisted mind towards the idea of men and women ripping their clothes off and doing very interesting things for people's amusement. But it's definitely clear to me that this guy spent a shit ton of money on probably about, I'd have to say, a third of his earnings on cloaking software. Because if you look him up online, you will only find one picture of him, and there's barely anything. One
Wow.
picture. So you can tell he was determined to hide. Might have to do with the fact that he was a major lobbyist for Israel. So that sets the tone as to things he believed in. But that's political, and I don't like to get into politics.
Fair. Let's just keep it on porn. We'll keep it
Mm.
safe. I think that's a very reasonable approach.
Yeah.
Um, okay, to like, I'll play devil's advocate because I am not at all familiar with um like that guy's background or anything. But like, if the porn industry is your industry, if this is your business,
Mm-hmm.
it would make sense to be the most well-read individual in the room. Now, given the category of business, I could see why people would be like, perv, for sure. But
Yes.
perhaps like an enthusiastic perv that also is good at business. I don't know. I had no idea. Like he
Well,
built an incredible platform. The whole cloaking thing, I could also see that.
well, I'm gonna say this: there is a level of brilliance to the guy. I mean, think about it. He created an empire,
Hmm.
and that's the only word I can use to describe it. He created an empire that is still growing today, but also shrinking at the same time. One thing that also popped up is with his death, Elon Musk, not a fan, um, has proposed that he intends to buy OnlyFans, which I think is BS because he owns way too much as it is, just so that he can cancel it. Honestly, knowing how Elon operates and what goes on in his head, my best guess is that he would have it hacked so that he's the only person on Earth who has access to it.
I got no statement on any of that. But hey, you know what? To the first OnlyFans star from Mars,
Mm-hmm.
I'll tune in for that one.
Yeah. And here's the thing, like, I mean, everybody takes satisfaction in it from time to time. Uh, would it, and yes, it falls under the category of highly controversial. Would you say
Why
one thing
is it
I
though? Is it specifically here in the States that we believe all of this to be as controversial as it is? Because Europe for sure doesn't feel the same way about porn or simply the nude body.
very true. I think it may just be an American thing, more than it is a European thing. I mean, they've got like nude beaches in Europe and stuff like that as well. Here in the US, stuff like that is very much hidden underground. Um,
In other words,
eh,
our nude sex clubs are all basement clubs.
yes, yeah. Very much. Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. I mean, there are nude beaches in the US, but, well, people don't really know about it because when they think of the beach, they think of Miami Beach, they think of Cape Cod, they think of the Hamptons and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Unless you're looking for something new, I don't think you go seeking out, okay, you're on Google, nude beaches near me.
Let's see if
Yeah,
there's a Costco on the way so we can pick up some snackies.
most definitely. One thing that I kind of feel or get a sense is I sort of feel that the porn industry is, well, maybe here in the United States at least, is kind of starting to die, but there are a lot of people who are determined to keep it alive and regrowing because you don't really hear about like Playboy much anymore, and everything's online too. You have to go to like Pornhub or websites like that. But I've done my research and stuff, and I've found that a lot of people who are on OnlyFans, um, identify them are big all over social media, primarily Instagram, and they'll identify themselves as like content creators or digital
Oh,
artists and stuff.
influencers, yeah.
Exactly, yes. And then you see the links underneath, and it immediately takes you to either OnlyFans or
Yeah.
some other like stripper pornographic based website, and you're like, oh, this is how they make their nut.
Nut is a very interesting word choice there. I can appreciate that. Most
Yes.
definitely.
Yeah.
So when you all right, let's define something here for a moment. Like, so
Of
when you say
course.
the porn industry,
Yeah.
because a lot of this conversation is around OnlyFans. So
Hmm.
when you're talking to like the porn industry, you're talking what's more like probably historically stereotypical porn. Like, are you
Yes.
talking about like is that Pornhub and like all of those different like production companies that we see on that platform with
Mhm.
regularity?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that's what is defining of essentially like porn, the
Yes.
porn industry when you refer to it.
Yes. Yes.
And like you bring a Playboy, which
Hmm.
they went through, I think, two interesting phases. One, they're like, you know what? Enough of this nude crap. Who cares? Turns out a lot of people did.
Most definitely. Yeah.
So why would we not continue doing the one thing that's working for us? Because apparently it hasn't been the advertisements that everybody's was reading, the articles. Um, but then I think they went like with like a new creative direction. Like once they realized, like, oh, okay, maybe we do have to go back to like the whole nude thing. But like the since Hefner left, like my uncle who lived in Chicago, he lived adjacent from the original Playboy Mansion,
Hmm. Oh,
and
wow.
yeah, and like right in like the Gold Coast, and no one, there's not a single entity within the Playboy brand
Hmm.
these days that any of like this younger like Gen Z, Gen Alpha, like none of them will be able to point to anything in Playboy and be like, "Yep, that's the original X, Y, and Z."
Oh, yeah.
They're not
Absolutely.
doing anything that's worth establishing them as this new groundbreaking thing. I think like back then, Playboy had a lot more like gravitas because it was this like new wild like we're all just naked and fucking all the time and it's you and that's it.
Hmm.
We
Yeah.
don't it's the same as the music industry. It's like it's almost impossible to be earth-shatteringly new.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, especially with Diddy behind bars temporarily, I guess one could say. But that's a story for another day.
Right.
The, here's another thing is that I've kind of questioned what goes on in the mind of a porn star and stuff like that, their train of thought. And I've seen a few interviews. I saw an interview with a woman who I don't know if she's like quit the industry or is still going on with it and stuff like that. And she said that she is on birth control basically 24/7. Um, and another and the
Low calorie
guys,
snacking, as I hear.
yeah, and the guys, I can't even imagine how much Viagra they consume on a daily basis.
I could not tell you.
Honestly, I don't think I even want to know. And and also like what is it? Another thing that I think maybe they need to understand better, and I'm not going to like speak on their behalf because this is something that my knowledge is so limited to, is that when you finally quit and get back to normality, I guess one could say, normality is never truly going to exist. I read an article recently where a woman who's a retired porn star has been literally begging with multiple websites that she was on to take down every last bit of content featuring her because she now has a kid and she does not want that child to ever have access or see it. I'm like, you signed the contract, you did the deal, they paid you, and once it's online, it's online. Endo story.
Yeah, that's a tough one to step into court with.
Hmm.
I did all this legally, knowingly, and in sound mind.
Yeah.
But now Stevie's here.
Your pet?
No, Stevie, my child,
Oh, your child.
not mine. I
Oh,
am a
okay.
porn
Got it.
star in this
Example. Yeah,
instance.
yeah, yeah. Now Stevie's
I
here.
don't want Stevie to
And
see mommy.
yeah, Stevie don't want to see mommy. I'm like, what's going to happen when he comes 14 and he starts exploring when he
Oh,
starts exploring with himself.
dude,
What's
it's
he
going
going
to
to
happen
stumble
way in advance of
across?
14. Are you kidding me? With the amount of access that we have these days? If
Oh yeah,
somebody's an infant right now.
and also with Gen Zs being born into this cyber world and generation, they'll never know what. I think that the 90s and the 80s were a lot healthier, to be honest. Like social media didn't consume our lives. We weren't asking for iPads for Christmas and stuff like that. We were asking for Legos or or even books. I mean, how many like 21-year-olds now even so much as read a book, for Christ's sake?
We're lucky if we're listening to them.
Correct. Yeah. Like there's a line in the movie No Hard Feelings. I don't know if you've seen it, where Jennifer Lawrence is at this party with a bunch of Gen Zs. And she's like going into room after room, and they're all on their phones, on their iPads, like communicating in different ways. And she has a line, it's my favorite. She's like, doesn't anyone fuck anymore?
But the answer is no, we don't. Like half of us are going to get like one of the most dangerous, and this is where a lot of like overlap is because we live in this digital world. Like all of our friends, our family, everybody's in our phones, and
Yeah.
now we have AI coming into the space, and so when you go onto these different porn sites, don't ask me why I know this, but you have all of these different like AI generated videos and like the profiles of AI women that are just it is a level of perfection that doesn't exist on a human level.
Yeah.
And that is what I see as being the most problematic because there's so many people that are already just like frustrated. Like just if we're talking only from like a guy's standpoint, like the amount of men out there in today's modern dating world that are just like beyond frustrated with what women are these days and what they've come to expect of us and vice versa, that it would not surprise me in the slightest that the uptick of individuals, whether or not there's much reporting done on this, I can guarantee this is a gradual increasing bell curve here, is the amount of people that are getting addicted to AI generated porn because it removes the human aspect. And human is a grounding thing that is just problematic. Like it's the ball and chain that keeps people like stuck in like the woes of their reality. And AI can just fuck it. We'll just do whatever you want us to.
I'm not a big AI enthusiast. I mean, I use AI for like sound editing whenever I do this podcast, just to make sure that everything is crystal clear, and so that my listeners can actually hear what we are talking about. But next to that, I really step as far away from it as I can because James Cameron predicted what will happen back in the 80s with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah. I'll be back. And he's coming back.
And we're all happy that he is.
Yeah. Yeah. It was right. James Cameron was right. The machines are going to take over. They're going to dominate society. They're going to crush us all.
I very much agree.
Yes. Yeah. Here's a thing going back to kind of like the psyche and what's going on in their mind. I was watching Vice Insider, which is a thing on YouTube I really like, with a woman who was an escort. And I know like porn, escorting, totally different things, but I mean, one way or another, when you're in a porn video, you're having sex with another individual. And you could sense a certain level of shame with her. Basically, she talked about like having to want a transition to normality. I'm like, girl, look at what you've been doing since you were in your 20s, for Christ's sake. Not only that, but when it comes to like, I guess one might say shame per se, she said, with this job, you have to have roughly 4 layers of skin. So that's the thing. I'm like, is the money you make from this truly that important to the point where you're willing to deal with maybe like internal psychological battles that you can just think you can cover up with a smile and good looks.
Yeah, if the money's good,
Mm,
which is the
yeah,
problem.
money.
Because, like, I think it sounds like from a couple different interviews, and what wouldn't surprise me, especially that like the former porn star who's now got the kiddo.
Mm,
It, the word normal is a very intriguing word to me because I think about like what the fuck is normal? What is
correct. Yeah.
like
Like the hippies used to say, what is normal, man,
I,
anyway?
yeah, I'm not trying to be I'm not a hippie.
Neither am
But I have
I.
some like new age ways of considering things that
Hmm.
some might categorize as being hippy dippy, but well, I'm in Denver. What do you expect from me? Um, but look, for all these people, okay, coming out of the porn world, normal, I anticipate whether they're like interviewed by somebody or this is just their own line of thinking is like, well, how do I reacclimate? How do I get to something that is normal? I don't know.
Hmm.
You figure it out. You try something different.
Yeah.
I think different is a much better word because normal, your previous normal was fucking people on camera.
Yeah. I definitely agree. Different.
Read,
Shift. Change.
shift, explore, discover something different. But for
Hmm.
some reason, I think if you have the wherewithal to go publicly, like profit from having
Hmm.
sex on camera, I think the inner brainiology of those kinds of people, whatever you do after that is not going to be considered normal by most people's standards. Because I can't imagine you're going to thrive at a desk job and be
Yeah.
satisfied
Yeah.
because you need that certain level of stimulation. And
Mhm.
if you don't have that, then you're going to still try to find it somewhere else. That would be my, you know, consideration is normal. I don't believe is a word that is even possibly attainable for those folks, much as they
Mm,
might desire it.
yes, yeah. It's that, like you just said, it's a desire. It's not a reality. Because when I saw that interview with the one who's like current, who talked about like being on birth control 24/7 at a constant rate, she also said, "Oh, I want to eventually become a nurse." And being somebody who's worked in healthcare, we definitely are always sharing our backstories, questioning how you got from A to B to becoming a healthcare worker and stuff like that. The only thing I'd say to her as wisdom is this: you will not be looked at with like regular eyes. When people see you in your scrubs with your scrub hat and stuff like that, now that they know what you did to profit in order to get here, they're probably just going to see you in lingerie or absolutely naked.
It is a tough one. If somebody is privy to that kind of background information, people will just zero in on that. And they can't unsee it.
Exactly.
From an actor's standpoint, I would say figure it out, make up a lie, and stick to it.
Hmm.
And
Or in the
as
case
long as
of
you can.
or in the case of Channing Tatum, you can use it to your advantage to entertain people from a different angle. Like the ones who claim to be like content creators and influencers and stuff. Part of my train of thought is that I saw some who are like on podcasts. I'm like, I think these are people who are trying to use a different avenue to get famous. I mean, you're an actor now, and it's not like it's impossible. Because Cameron Diaz, she was a porn star before she became Cameron Diaz, and Channing Tatum, he was discovered at a strip club in Tampa, Florida, when he was 18.
Gotta love Tampa, Florida.
Haven't been. Definitely need to go.
I'm not even sure I've been.
Yeah.
But that's, I mean, the like Transporter 3,
Mhm.
the woman in that, as I understand it, I forget her name, but she's got this immaculately very specific, unique, like freckled look to her. Um, I believe that the director like saw her like at a restaurant that
Mm.
she was like a waitress at.
Oh,
And
okay.
then the director essentially put her through acting classes because he's like, you're you're the girl. So
Mm,
let's get you to a place where you can actually function as this girl. And
yes.
inevitably, Transporter 3, it's a pretty reasonably big movie at the
Mhm.
time. Jason Statham, like, heck, if you got that somebody's like, I am literally zeroed in on this individual and I cannot take my eyes off of them, then well, yippee doo, bravo for you.
Yeah. Congrats.
Yeah, that's not a flavor I have ever known.
No.
So,
Neither have I. Because one thing I always emphasize with people is that in this industry, whether you believe it or not, luck plays a big role in
are we
how we
talking just
get to.
acting or are we back to porn now?
We're talking about acting, like the ones who, like I said, Channing Tatum. He was discovered at a strip club in Tampa, Florida. I feel that his stroke of luck was that he used that background to his advantage to create Magic Mike, because Magic Mike is based on a true story. What he did was he took all of those fabricated elements of what it was like in his teenage years to the age of 18 being a stripper, the journey he went on, how it affected his life to create that film. So there is something you can use it to your advantage if you're a good storyteller, that is.
Yeah.
Um, but like I said, he was discovered there. And it's that way with so many people. Like when we're making that transition into acting to try and get to Hollywood, to try and get to the A list, luck plays a key role in it.
Hmm. Quite so.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't know. Like I said, do feel that like the industry is sort of dying, or one might say like fading. What would you say? Is it not fading, or is it
Acting
just
or
kind of
porn?
porn?
I feel like this
Let's
is
get back to.
now we're both like there's overlap in this statement for both
Oh,
entities.
definitely, yeah, yeah. Let's get back to porn, because it is you are acting, or at least may think you are in it. um,
And we love the ones that try.
yes.
Uh, is the industry fading?
Mm.
That wasn't there at some point that like OnlyFans essentially like restricted the amount of money that you could actually make on the platform?
I heard about that. Yes, there was. I don't know when it was per se. I do know for a fact that COVID made that dude, Leonard, whatever his last name was, filthy, stinking rich, because it's
Yeah.
COVID. We're isolated. We're inside.
Yeah.
We're lonely.
Work from home, and that turns out everybody else at home, they need something to do. So why not
Correct.
wank off profusely?
Yeah. Yeah, most definitely.
And now's the time we can hide. And verticals are popping up. It is now this like new guilty pleasure platform thing. I don't know, it's weird. So I feel like a call like that, because I worked at a sales company. Well, it wasn't a sales, it was a tour company, and I was doing sales for it.
Yes.
And just before I came on, they had uncapped commission.
Mhm.
And boy, was everybody happy to be working there when that was the case. And then bada bing, bada boom, they called it. They just said, you know what, there's a roof because our profits we're hurting and business isn't as good. So we got to put some, boundaries up so that we can actually kind of regulate this a little bit. People don't like to be regulated. That
No,
has
none
the
of it.
same exact psychological effect on anybody who's on these kind of creative platforms where they're like, I could be doing more, but I can't. I'm literally not able to.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I could see that being a definitive influencing element. Um, there's a tremendous amount of free resources out
Mhm.
there. And I mean, that's been the case for quite some time. So I know that not to be, I mean, that's not in the favor of anybody, but what we're talking about, like OnlyFans and like this kind of like influencer content creator marketplace means that like, all right, you and me, if we wanted to, we can essentially think, and I say think very appropriately because we want to think that we can befriend these adult entertainers. And now these different platforms, Instagram to OnlyFans and whatever else, open up this ability to now converse with these creators and get more of that personalized touch, so to speak, without ever having a lap dance or ever actually speaking to them, one on one or anything like that. And that just costs money. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. Do free
And
resources?
what's more is that you can monetize through Instagram too.
Mhm.
Not being a big thing now. So all these people need to do is like put together a collection of like 50 to 100 photos of their best look. And next thing you know, the money comes raking in.
Yeah. And it ain't difficult for some extraordinarily well endowed individuals.
And I'm not going to lie. And I guess this is the most advice I'll give people is that with the way things are now economically and with the job market being what it is, you really do have to get creative about how you make money because people just aren't hiring. And also, everything is online now. So the internet is probably like the biggest bank you can turn to. I mean, I don't know if you see it that way, but that's kind of what I've caught on to, especially through monetizing through YouTube and social media.
Yeah. I mean, it is a definitive, like Meta just lost the lawsuit
Oh,
recently.
really? I didn't know they were in a lawsuit.
Oh yeah. Well, if you've seen the teen accounts like ads on Instagram,
Mhm.
I believe that those are a direct result of the loss that was essentially like teen suicide and whatnot because like human trafficking. So essentially, like the conversation was like the old cigarette companies like Marlboro,
Mhm.
like Meta knew that these feeds, the way that they designed their product was addicting and that it opened up the gates to conversation with unsavory individuals, but
True.
yet they continued operating as such. And I believe that that was the base grounds for a lot of their loss. And another,
Yeah.
you know, litany of lawsuits were kind of hanging out in the wings, waiting on the verdict from that specific lawsuit. So it's a good thing.
Mhm.
But all this is to say that's one very specific category of individual, this
Mm.
maker. Not every fucking person out there wants to go make. I can't tell you how many like people I know that are like, I hate social media. I hate social media personally. I need it,
Yes.
but I hate it. And it's a
I'm in
time
this.
suck, and it's made me more sporadic. And my attention span has suffered greatly because of it. Um, the ability to tell stories to our respective audiences has been crippled because of
Mhm.
how audiences absorb entertainment. Um, so it largely, okay, so there is this online marketplace, and that is the reason I bring any of this up is because Marta, would point to that marketplace and say, well, we are now bringing jobs to our people. This is a marketplace. This is e-commerce, and we are viably part of today's modern economy. That said, there's still a lot of people that have no interest in doing that. And many of them are probably older, like, like millennials and up is probably where you still see a lot of that because and I'm assuming you're probably millennial. I don't know how old you are, but
Yeah, I'm a millennial. I'm a
yeah.
90s guy.
And that's where like, the millennials are still like, we have that old school and we have that new school. We're that
Correct.
last generation that really still has that sort of dual appreciation. So I would speculate that millennials and up, there still has to be more consideration about like, look, if technology and like robots and all that stuff, if James Cameron's truest the speculation does come to fruition, then all right, that puts a lot of people out of work. The
Most
trades are going
definitely.
to start ticking up, become a plumber, an electrician, learn to build a house. I don't know. Um, the physical trades, the things that
Yes.
we still need. Um,
Mhm.
and I would anticipate that that's going to be a lot of the older generation that ends up having to kind of go that direction. And by older, I mean simply our generation and upwards.
I agree. I mean, me, when I'm not doing filmmaking, when I'm not doing this, in order to, I call it the bill job, which we've all been in before. I work at a refrigeration storage unit that's an off-base part of Logan Airport. It is a sweatshop job. Labor, back breaking, killing my shoulder bones, being on my legs for sometimes up to 12 hours straight, no sitting down.
Yeah.
And you realize that that's like some of the only work that's available. And if things continue the way they are, that's all that is going to be available
Hmm.
because one way or another, you need people to do it.
And I think, I mean, like Walmart greeters, we love them. We need them.
Hmm.
But technically, a robot could take that over.
Correct. Yeah. And they said that's one of the top things that's going to be evicted from the job market is greeters, cashiers, people who smile in front of you rather than you've just got a big electronic box computer and you can just plug in whatever you need and bada bing, bada boom, you've paid for your groceries. End of
Yeah.
story.
Well, I mean, like hotels in Tokyo have been doing like robotic, front desk clergy for years already. And now it's more of a consideration here in the States, but it's not a novel concept. It's just coming online, I think, more
Yeah.
universally.
And you had mentioned addiction. One thing, and you might know this a bit more about this than me. I mean, I've kind of thought deep and had about it. Is people? This does not get a lot of attention, but porn is an addiction, and not a healthy one at that.
Right?
What would you say? Kind of not just really fuels that addiction, but will eventually end up creating it, and the real repercussions from it.
Well, good questions, considerations. Largely one of the key factors being the dating market. It is completely unsatisfactory for many people. I'm not saying
Mhm.
everyone. You can still find success if you find your right person, whether online, in person, heck, dating apps. When I still hear that people like meet on those, I'm like, oh, well, good. You met the old fashioned way. That's nice. Yeah.
I met my wife through an international dating website.
Well, there you go. So all right. So I should give context. I'm a well, rather staunchly single fella, because I've dated more than I'm going to admit here, but enough to understand the value of one's peace. Because from the maker's standpoint, from the actor's standpoint, that's a wonderful space to build from. It's a general space of calm collection that allows you to be able to think more tactically and strategically in a very stressful field. So I think that's very helpful. But nonetheless, I mean, it was somebody that I brought to set the other day that is my cameraman. And he's in this fantastic 4-year relationship. I'm like, oh man, like I envy you. That's awesome. And he's like, I'm sorry, man. I'm like, well, sorry about what? He's like, well, sorry that you haven't found that. I'm like, well, don't apologize. I can envy you, but still be just fine on my own. I admire individuals that can find a good, healthy relationship.
Mhm.
But for those who can't, look, I'm healthy. What that means is I have a continuous sex drive, but I have the acknowledgement that I need not find random poontang wherever I can find it,
Mhm.
because that just causes more harm than it does good at a certain point. So, this is one of those instances where, okay, well, if I still have sexual cravings, then I have to take care of them. It's my like inner animal instinct. And I understand about myself that sometimes it just has to be like taken care of. And
Yeah.
it's, I don't know why I'm saying this live on air, but this is kind of like the consideration these days is like, okay, it's work from home. you know, how do we put this? Because like I listen to like Tom Segura and Christina P on
Mhm.
Your Mom's House podcast,
Oh.
and so they talk about essentially like like she has to milk him, and that level of conversation is always preceded by he's always calmer. You know,
Mhm.
once that whole process has been done, because leading up to it, he's edgy. He gets, you know, all that, and that is actually largely true. That if those are not met, like whatever those cravings and circumstances are, if they can't be met with like a human level,
Yeah.
and if they're not taken care of on, you know, a behind the scenes level,
Mhm.
we'll call it that. Um, you know, I'm not gonna like walking into a business meeting all horned
Mhm.
up. That's not gonna play well for
Mm.
anybody.
Oh, no, not under any
So my
circumstances.
advisory here is not like go furiously masturbate whenever you want to, but
Mhm.
understand yourself as a human and acknowledge if you got to get milked, you got to get milked.
Yeah.
That would be my business advice.
My advice is do not take any advice from Matthew McConaughey. For those of you who have
Oh,
all seen The Wolf of Wall Street, I'm not going to lie.
let's get those numbers up, shall we?
Yeah, I can actually do the entire monologue. All right, those are rookie numbers in this bracket. I
It's a great,
myself, I masturbate twice daily.
yeah, great
One after I
monologue.
work out, one before I hit the gym. You got to feed the geese to keep the blood flowing. I
Mhm.
do it because I want to? No, because I need to. You're dealing with numbers every day, digits. So when you need to, just go, pop one out. That is the only scene in the movie where Leo is outdone by a supporting actor. The only scene.
Well, he hadn't become his full self at that point in the movie yet. So
No, and you do catch on if you've seen the movie enough and just like kind of really observe the film. Like that's one thing I do as a filmmaker and a screenwriter is I believe in times I need to observe films in order to better understand good storytelling. In that moment, you can tell that he is grooming Jordan Belfort to become him.
yeah,
At first, he's just a normal guy, 22 years old, married, looking to make money through the stock market. Next thing you know, and I've seen interviews with the real Jordan Belfort, quite an interesting individual, I'll tell you that.
mhm.
You get asshole vibes the moment he starts talking and opens his mouth. He said, "Oh yeah, we were having office orgies on a daily basis, nothing but blow, quaaludes, and sex wherever we felt like it." And
What did they say?
I
The '80s were a healthier time.
Uh, something along those lines. He said he would do up to 22 different drugs a day. I don't know how that man is still breathing. I really don't.
Well, for what it's worth, Wolf of Wall Street was a hell of a movie, so I'm glad he is.
Leo admitted that he found it kind of disgusting at certain points because when you see a lot of those orgy stylized scenes, he said they used body doubles constantly. I guess a lot of people in the film did not feel perfectly comfortable the stripping ass naked, so it kind of became a bit of a necessity. The scene where Margot Robbie.
Margot Quaalude.
Yeah, sorry. The scene where Margot Robbie walks in like no clothes on whatsoever, ass naked, that was actually her idea. She's the one who pitched that to Scorsese. Originally in the script, it was like, oh, she walks in lingerie, looking all hot and sexy. She's like, no, I got to go full nude.
Well, we love her too.
Yes, and when her family saw it in theaters in Australia, I think she tried to like hold him out or something. She felt the
Hey, let's look at some
shame
popcorn, yeah?
element. Yeah, just something like that.
But okay, all right. So then that's an interesting topic because all right, so that like now we're talking nudity in Hollywood.
Yes.
And for her in that situation, full frontal,
Yeah.
um, within the bounds of what is still considered like R rated.
Mm.
that has garnered more acceptance than the porn industry on the whole.
I definitely agree. You are right. You're spot on.
I mean, there's a definitive difference, like, but there's a lot of material at like HBO and all these different.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I mean, Netflix is dipped a toe into some like highly erotic stuff that is borderline like pornographic, if not
Yeah.
outright at times.
Mhm.
Um, so, what is the defining difference? What makes one more acceptable than the other?
Uh, I think it does boil down to storytelling, because if you look at if you look at pornographic videos online, wherever it is you guys go to jerk off, there is no
Hands,
plot.
my hands are up here. I'm just
It's, no, yeah, yeah. There is no plot. There is no storyline to it. I think in some videos they tried to create a story, but there is no story under any circumstances. Me as a screenwriter, so when I'm writing something romantic, where it's very passion driven, the relation between the two characters, I actually try to avoid sex and nudity to a high extent, because I believe that it is what is within personality, commitment, drive, love, that's what fuels true romance. If I have reached a point where I do feel that a stronger, more intense sexual element or some element of nudity is required, I will put it in. But next to that, it's not my go-to. I don't really like it that much. Or, well, I don't like writing it. I mean, what can I say? I think some people just watch Game of Thrones just so that they can see Daenerys Targaryen ass naked.
I sure. Well, yeah. I mean, there's bona fide markets for all of this stuff.
Mhm.
Like it is interesting. I was on one set, and I'm talking to my co-star, and she brings up this was on the heels of Olivia Wilde,
Mm.
um, talking about her new movie and the fact that she wanted to make essentially like the sex in the movie more female centric. So not like,
Mm.
as I understand, like I never actually saw the movie, but my understanding was just make it more enjoyable for women as opposed to it always being written by and for seemingly dudes.
Mm.
And so I brought this up on the set, and I said, well, okay, well, what was she intonating, with that line of thought? And essentially the response that I got largely, and then I ran it by some other friends too, women, and
Mhm.
essentially the gist is like less thrusting, more like vaginal pleasure, essentially uh like eating out, licking, you know.
I think
Deep,
you're referring to
deep.
Don't Worry, Darling.
Having never seen it, I don't know, but if that's
I've
Olivia
seen it.
Wilde movie, then
It is an
probably.
Olivia Wilde movie. She directed it and she co-stars in it. Very well made. Florence Pugh, Harry Styles, Chris Pine. I was actually quite impressed by Harry Styles' performance in that, because I've always known him as a musician. I didn't
Yeah,
know what he was capable of as an actor.
yeah. I
But
saw him on
what you're
SNL. I liked it.
Yeah, but what you're describing, I think that was in Don't Worry, Darling. Yeah, good movie. I do highly recommend seeing it. Um, and like me, when I do write in that sexual element or any form of nudity, like I said, it has to serve a purpose, and kind of like what you were saying about from a more female driven angle, that is part of where I've come to find I'm starting to come from. There's a script I'm currently working on. It's called Phantom, and in it there's a scene where the female lead uh stares at herself completely naked in the mirror when she's in the bathroom. For me, the premise behind that was not, oh, I'm going to arouse the audience or anything like that. She is judging herself in that moment. I wanted it to be where a woman judges herself and kind of that idea women really do complain a lot about body image. And I thought maybe that's something that can be used to my advantage to really better understand why this woman acts, behaves, and kind of interacts with men and in society in general.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a tool to help further the story within reason, then I mean, I think most people would say like, we're behind that as long as it's not like gratuitous nudity. Like that's where historically I've heard most people be like, just the gratuitous stuff. It's like, yeah, why are we doing this? It's like, we're just
Mhm.
looking for eyeballs at this point.
Yeah, like I mean, I only know of one movie that has ever portrayed part porn, and that's Boogie Nights with Mark Wahlberg.
Mm.
He actually, I think he turned it down on more than one occasion because it just raised his eyebrows and was like, "I'm gonna be making a movie about the porn industry." Like, it doesn't exactly seem like my glass of vodka.
Well, having never seen it, I can't really speak to it, but I mean,
Neither have I.
yeah.
And I have the utmost respect for Mark Wahlberg. I'm a Bostonian, and we love him out here, that's for sure.
Oh yeah. Well, it's
Yes.
like it is a key point of consideration when, all right, we as actors, we have to consider our own personal brands. What
Mhm.
projects do we endeavor on, and which ones do we just say, you know what? All due respect, I'm going to pass on this.
Yes, yeah. And of course I think we both learned or well that if you turn sometimes if you turn it one down, it can backfire on you because then you see the success and you're like, oh my god, I didn't get in on that. Best example I've ever used is I don't know if you've seen the 1980 comedy Airplane.
I have.
Yes, so you know the doctor that's portrayed by Leslie Nielsen.
Mhm.
He was not the original choice. I'm gonna get into fun facts, folks. You know, I'm those of you who have listened to me before, you know I'm a movie encyclopedia. So originally, a majority of the cast were very serious actors who had a prime in the 50s and the 60s. So they felt it would be amusing if they used very serious, dramatic actors to be ridiculous. Their first choice to play Dr. Rabinovich was none other than the late, great Sir Christopher Lee.
Hmm.
Lee found the concept kind of like ridiculous. Was like, nah, this ain't worth it. No, turned it down. They gave it to Leslie Nielsen, whose comedy career skyrocketed instantly. Lee openly admitted that to the day he died,
Mm.
that it was his biggest career regret turning down that film.
Never take yourself too seriously, boys and girls.
Hmm. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. You really can do anything. Samuel L. Jackson, he actually was coached to never turn down a role, no matter how ridiculous it may be. Hence
Mhm.
why he's the highest grossing actor in Hollywood.
Yeah. Well, and that's an interesting one too, because he started later in life, and
Yes.
now
Yes,
he's
he did.
as beloved as he is, this iconic beast of a human. Like
Hmm.
that's awesome. Good.
Yes.
No, and that's the other side of it too. Is I don't know. However long it takes you to find whatever your thing is, the moment you do, go
Yeah.
and don't look back.
Michelle Yeoh said at the Oscars when she won Best Actress for Everything Everywhere All at Once, nobody is ever out of their prime. I think that's how she put it or anything like that. Ultimately, the message was you're never too old, you're never too young. Like it's gonna come
Mhm.
for you, really is. And it just I really take that to heart because me being I I haven't had my big break yet, but the project I'm working on now found out is a feature film. It's gonna be in theaters, and the director wants me to be on his next project, and he already has a pretty big A-list cast. And I'm like, I thought that I think when I was at least 30, like this is the end of the road, and was kind of a bit ready to almost hang it all up and I mean, I worked for the government at the time, was gonna take my buddy's advice, which is they wanted me to work for the CIA. Never,
Well,
no, never. I turned down
still
the
good.
offers.
Yeah.
I turned down the offers. For those of you who may be in the military, who do work for the government, who are considering this path of work, let me give you some advice. If you have absolutely no morals and know how to lie at a consistent basis,
Go into
it's for
porn.
you.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
It's for you. But no, that applies to other people who are up and rising and don't know where they're going. Yeah, if you have no morals and don't really have a perfectly clear conscience, yeah, go into porn. I mean, you may end up like that woman I mentioned who is now negotiating, begging all of the big name websites to take down everything because she's got a kid. So I you've been, do you have some regret? Would you say you have some regrets or mixed feelings about having lived that lifestyle before prior?
What lifestyle?
Having worked in like pornographic entertainment.
I never did.
You didn't?
I was joking with you when I
You were bullshitting me the whole damn time? Man,
No,
you're
I mean,
good.
the actor. I lie. No, sorry. Not to call my own lie on air, but no, I've never worked in that industry. Um, the closest I ever got, I've done a lot of nude photography.
Okay,
So
gotcha. So that
I've
angle of it.
photographed. I have been myself nude. I've been like the nude model for drawing classes. None of
Mhm.
this is what's constituted as porn. This is not
No.
porn. Drawing class modeling is historically it's one of the oldest existing art forms out there. Um, so that is nudity within the bounds of what's societally accepted within.
Okay, gotcha.
Um, so no, there's just I don't have any regrets for any of that because
Oh.
if I can spin it in my own personal path, nude photography is it's a form, it's a craft that like there's a lot that can go wrong.
Mm,
In other words, somebody can, in the blink of an eye, essentially turn into your biggest enemy, your
yes.
biggest hater, all because you did something rather small, but in circumstances that are okay. Well, now we're dealing with the nude figure that elevates things.
Hmm.
Things get a little bit more touchy, not
Yeah.
physically, but touchy as in we're kind of walking on eggshells. And so if you are operating in these different circumstances, you need to know how to handle them.
Yeah.
And largely these days, it's something that like I only do with people that I'm actually seeing, like the women
Hmm.
I'm actually attracted to. Like I'm not into like advertising that I do this anymore as a career path or money making
Hmm.
endeavor, like a boudoir studio. Like that's a terrible endeavor for a straight guy these days, a straight single guy, no less.
Yeah.
Um, it's a really tough one. So, like, what it taught me is hospitality, though. It
Mm,
showed me, yes, we are flirting with the edge of titillation,
hmm.
satisfaction, art creation. And, in those moments, whether or not there's actually dialogue between, the photographer to the model, plural, uh,
Hmm.
you can still tell a lot about the individual when you're endeavoring to build something creative in film. It's much the same way. And understanding the nuances of those kind of more extreme moments is something that is very difficult to explain without
Hmm.
literally going through it with other people. And it's like those little nuances have just shown me a lot about how to operate in life,
Yeah.
weirdly enough. So, no, I have no regrets. I made my decisions and I'm the human that I am because of them. But largely, and the same can be, said for the porn industry too. I just anticipate that they're probably slightly less vocal about it. But you take whatever you learned in those instances and you try to transfer it to whatever you're doing now.
Yeah. Me, I mean, I have a lot of regrets in life, but those are more like personal things.
And no judgment for
Outside,
any of them either.
yeah,
I do harvest plenty of them, just not in context these.
yeah. In regards to though, like I guess one might say career wise and stuff like that, I'd have to say my biggest regret is not working hard enough to get on the set of Little Women. I remember
Mm.
when they first started advertising it and everything like that. I didn't know much about it. And the only two actresses I knew in it at the time was Emma Watson and Saoirse Ronan. Um, I I don't think I even really knew who Greta Gerwig was. And I didn't make an attempt even to so much as get a job as a production assistant. And hey, look how big of a thing that hit to be. That really. So I do regret not making much as much of a concrete effort as I think I could have to get on that set. The
Mm.
other one, it's not really a regret. It's more like there was a barricade in front of me. I don't know if you're familiar with the Netflix film "Don't Look Up."
Oh yeah, I love that movie.
I was inches away from getting on set as a
Really?
PA, inches away.
What
But
happened?
because of COVID restrictions that I feel they should have loosened a little bit, I'm this close. I'm one step away, and they're like, "Oh, there's certain COVID restrictions. You can't do this, that." I mean, and I missed it, and it hisses me off so damn much because that movie hit it big, did well. I'm like, damn,
Yeah. Sorry,
yeah,
man.
uh, it's
Hey,
part of
more to
it.
come, hopefully. If
Oh
not,
yeah, yes,
write
yeah,
something
yeah.
extraordinary and then make it for yourself.
I'm actually what is it? I'm in the process of beginning pitching for a film. I wrote it. It's called My Cousin Juan.
Okay.
It's about the drug wars from a different angle, a more human angle. The lifestyle of what is it to be a drug trafficker. You don't really hear about those guys and hear their stories. And if you do, you can go on YouTube and find them. I've seen interviews with people who traffic cocaine, who trafficked heroin, etc. Uh, the lifestyle, it's pretty different. This is based on the they everybody kind of asked this, but it's based on a lie I told friends of mine when I was 28 that I was related to an individual who worked for the cartel. Conversations surrounding that lie, and like you said, you're an actor. I was able to milk them for 3 hours straight.
Wow.
Mind you, they were pretty stoned, but I sold it well
Maybe
enough.
guards were down, but hey.
I sold it well enough. And when I just ran out of storytelling, they were like, I told them, guys, I've been bullshitting you this whole time. This is a lie. And they're like, you have to write this as a script. You have to turn this into something.
It's a fascinating world. I
Oh,
mean,
yes,
everything that
definitely.
went down in Mexico somewhat recently. Like, there's still stark realities that are always happening. I was in Costa Rica in 2021, volunteering at a hotel in a oceanside town, and we're out for a walk, myself and the hoteliers, and these two gentlemen join us. And the way that they spoke was like none other that I had ever experienced. But I didn't know anything because they were all speaking Spanish, and I only understand the very cursory level of it. Inevitably, the two other individuals, they split off, and we kept on our path. And the guys are like, "Yeah, so those are essentially the two most dangerous narcos on this peninsula."
Wow. I mean, hey, everybody has those experiences. I had some life stories. I worked briefly for Channel 7 News here in Boston. The guy who trained me, he did a lot of coverage during peak era of the Cold War in the 70s. And they were covering some of the turbulence that was going on in North Africa at the time.
Huh.
A group of South African mercenaries mistaked them for being what we now refer to as contractors, and nearly, I'd have to say, kidnapped them to put them on a plane and take them to Angola to fight in the Civil War.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Another interesting thing was that he, in 1979, Iran hostage crisis, when he was flying to Tehran, guess who was first class? Ayatollah Khomeini was flying first class on the same plane as him.
Wow.
That is, I'd have to say, a disturbing life to have lived.
Small world, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we... yeah, trust me. Years, okay. You guys want to know a bit more about me and my disturbing background? I've almost died 9 times.
In cat world, that's not good.
And here's the crazy part. My horoscope sign is a Leo.
Oh, boy.
So I already threw away 9 of my lives.
Let's be careful out there now, okay?
Oh yeah, I've found a way to survive. I'm making it there. I'm not gonna make it in the porn industry. That's for sure. That is not my field of work.
Not yet. Time will tell. And I'm saying that for both of us. Who knows?
Yeah, I hope we don't end up reaching that boiling point. One thing that I think might push people to that level is financial desperation. Because when we get financially desperate, our cognitive function changes, it shifts. And also, like, I'd have to say, maybe in the world of crime, is this. If you are a very straightforward, committed, honest individual, if you reach levels of clear bankruptcy and stuff, what is considered illegal becomes an option. What is considered to not maybe be moral becomes an option. That is how, I guess one might say, almost threatening money can be.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't really seen many interviews about these with like former porn stars who have talked about like the financial element of it. I think the closest to in regards to the world of like nudity and sex was I had told you a woman who had been an escort, and she was like recruited in when she was like 19, 20 years old, because she was very low on money and just needed a hustle to kind of keep herself afloat, and well, led her to a lifestyle that she definitely, I could tell, based on, even though she was very calm about how she talked about it, you could tell she had a lot of regrets with that.
Well, hey, we all do things to, and whatever that motivating factor is too, if it's kids, if it's, I don't know, college debt.
Yeah.
If you went to college, I don't know. Everybody's got their own motivating factors. Taking care of a sick parent, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, just look at what Walter White did in order to pay for some cancer treatment.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I even considered that, actually, believe it or not, but I'm no chemist, and I don't live in New Mexico. I do not have easy access to an RV. And although I do know many 20-something-year-old stoners, they just enjoy smoking marijuana. They're not ones who are looking to profit off of making that big, beautiful blue crystal.
Well, I know 2 things beyond anything else. One, Albuquerque in an RV can make those happen pretty dang easily.
Oh, yeah. You're in the middle of the fucking desert.
It ain't that difficult. You can at least start there and then, I don't know, go watch some Bill Nye and figure out the whole chemistry side.
True. Yeah. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, YouTube, man.
YouTube. You can actually find out how to create IEDs on YouTube. Not something I would advise anybody to do.
Now this podcast is flagged for all the right reasons. Good job.
Yeah. Yeah. And speaking of which, and this is a shout out to all you media junkies out there. Anyone listening in, if you want to support this podcast and have a chance to be a guest on the show, you can follow me on Instagram at ATK Media or check me out on YouTube, like we mentioned, at Chatterbox-94. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You can leave your thoughts and comments in the section below. You can DM me via Instagram, and don't forget to tune in, listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, wherever it is you get your podcasts from. Do your browsing. You can find me. Well, it was great having you on the show, Kyle, and quite an interesting conversation. I'm sure we're both definitely going to get some interesting feed. Don't worry, I don't think it'll ruin either of our careers. This is just a topic that I guess I'm not trying to say I'm trying to bring a lot of attention to it. It's just I find controversial subjects can lead to quite an interesting conversation, discussion, debate. There's a lot of amusement that comes from it.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having me. Certainly a titillating discussion.
Yes.
I'll say that for sure.
All right.
Can I just say, if anybody wants to give me a follow, it's kylemerrick.actor. That's Insta, Facebook, LinkedIn. Maybe less on LinkedIn for this specific discussion.
Remember, folks, LinkedIn is practically worthless these days. Like everything. I don't even use it under any circumstances anymore. I should have terminated my profile a long time ago.
My first thing under my name, Kyle Merrick, is no soliciting. And yet, people solicit. No one fucking reads. It's the same point we've already brought up. No one reads.
Nobody reads. I read, but I read in order to also more for creative reasons, like helps me brainstorm, come up with ideas for that next great script.
Yeah, well, either way, keep up the good work and look forward to seeing you on the big screen, man.
Same to you. So, till next time, folks, stay high on life. Out.